skip the formalities. I am your host, John J, and this is our panel. Now, you already know we talk about some of the most trivial topics that gets up under everybody's skin, and it makes America's skin crawl when we start talking about these opinions and topics. So when we get to speaking, this is when you need to listen. Let me introduce you to the panel. We got Brianna over here. We got Brittany. We got Miss AJ with the wavy hair. We got Josh, and we got Mr. Yule repping KC. Now, our topic today is what is the reasonable age for your kid to start smoking weed? Now, we already know there's some parents out there that's smoking weed with their kids at 15 years old. And if they ain't smoking with their parents, they smoking with their friends in the back alley and they getting it in. They're getting high. They getting down and gritty. You ain't even got to be 18 to do these things. You can just go ahead and buy. So, panel, I want to hear from y'all directly. How do you feel if you had a child sitting there smoking weed, toting and getting it in, whether it's electronic, whether it's liquidated, whether it's whatever? How do you feel about it?
I don't think that kids should smoke weed until they get out, get a job or their own business. And then, I don't think weed is bad. I just think it make people lazy. So if you're not established yet and you start smoking weed young, you might just be a derelict, just out here just smoking weed and lazy. But once you get yourself together and, have things going for yourself, it's all right to hit the weed. It's all right to hit the weed. But you got to have your shit together. Just be 12, 13, 15, 17 smoking weed and you ain't got shit. That's bad. That's a bad start.
AJ, I think you smoke weed. You told a little bit. AJ, like, I got my life together. I can smoke as much weed as I want to.
My shit together. But I'm telling you, that's a long time coming. You know what I mean? That's a long time coming.
So AJ, you ain't smoking weed with your kids?
No, that's not my kids. Is not my homegirls. You know what I mean? They not my homegirls. I'm not one of those parents that say I'm not your friend, I'm your mama. I feel like I want to be both. You know what I mean? But mom comes first. So no, I'm not out here trying to share bad habits with my kids. You know what I mean? Once they get older, become adults, and they feel like they want to smoke some weed, I'm not gonna judge that. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, as long as your shit together. Because I know so many people who smoke weed and that's literally all they do. Like, that's all they do. Like, blunt after blunt, you know what I mean? Joint after joint. When are you sober? It's people that I know that's all that they do. Like, all day, every day. They getting high. So no, I don't want that for my kids. And then to just start sharing it with them, that's some bullshit. I don't think I'm supposed to be your parent, not your supplier.
So even as an adult, would you smoke weed with your kids as an adult?
My kids are so young.
I'm throwing these curveballs because you just said, hold on. AJ, you just said, hey, if they got their shit together, they can go ahead and tell a little bit. So so when they get their stuff together, I'm 25, I got my own place, I got my own car, I got a good job. Hey, mom, I want to sit here and blow this weed. You want to puff?
If I'm not,
what's the age,
not
John?
say I know.
What's the age, John?
That.
What's the age, John?
They 25. Yeah. They 25. Okay.
They 25 and they stick together. Like, my baby want to be a doctor. So you saying your baby a doctor and she got her shit together. She like, Ma, I got this weed. You want to blow? Would I do it?
Yeah.
I might. Because, I'm not a weed smoker. I can't say I just be smoking weed. I ain't saying I haven't. You know what I mean? But I'm not like out here smoking weed. But if one day my kid 25, 30 years old and she like got her PhD and she like, Ma, I got this weed shit, I might trust her enough to do it.
Now I'm going to say this. Okay. I ain't smoking weed with my kid on any give. I don't even smoke weed. So I can't stand the smell of it. The whole 9 yards. I can't. So I'm not gonna
Right.
I'm not gonna smoke weed with him. I'm not. Now, you want to smoke a cigar? You want to have a drink? We can do that. You know, that's a little bit more controlled. But you want to take a whole
Right,
blunt
because
to
you
the
don't even
head?
smoke it.
Nah, I ain't about to share a blunt with you. I don't know your mouth being. We ain't about to do all that. Nah.
But you mean you can smoke your own separate cigars?
Like, hold on. On some real shit. These cats be out here smoking blunts. You don't know what the other man mouth being, but y'all passing it back and forth. You won't do that with a cigarette. You ain't doing that with a cigar. You ain't even doing that with a bottle of liquor or a glass. But you want to sit here and pass a blunt back and forth. Man, this man can have dick all in his mouth. Sorry. He can have a little bit of fellatio in his mouth with a little, semen coming off his face. And you sitting there just passing the blunt back and forth. Like, bro, you don't know what that slob being.
That's true.
He took a girl that smelled like fish to the face. And you're talking about pass the blunt.
Hell no.
Right.
Hell no.
So your daughter come in and say, "Hey, Dad, it's real, it's having a good day." You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to pass?
Well, see, the funny thing is that conversation had already came up. She's
Okay.
She tells me one day, she said, I want to ask you something, Daddy, and I don't want you to judge me. She tells me, I guess maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, that she had smoked, but she didn't get anything from it. So I was, I said, okay, I understand that, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I was kind of glad she didn't, so
yeah,
that habit didn't get a chance to root. She looked at it kind of like how you look at it, John. So, it's if that situation occurred, I would probably deal with it at that moment. If obviously under 25, I wouldn't even consider it. It wouldn't even consider it. But I will play that according to, I guess the maturity level. I'm kind of like AJ. That would kind of depend on where their life is. And I would say that for drinking alcohol too. It would be the same for drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if I know my daughter's out here and all she's doing is partying and stuff, no, I probably wouldn't take a drink with her, especially if she ain't got her life together. But if she did, I would consider it in the same category.
Yeah. I can't see myself. For one, I can't see myself smoking weed. Okay. And if my son was to ever smoke weed or how the case is like that, yeah, I do agree with AJ. You got to have yourself established.
Right.
In my opinion, I believe that people that smoke weed, they are some lazy individuals.
So lazy.
They are lazy and they get to. True story. I was out hooping yesterday. Josh, you're gonna enjoy this. I was out hooping yesterday. Okay. I murdered everybody on the court, right? Not literally, but I put everybody in their place. My cousin he literally said on the court, "Man, my high coming down." Bro, so you out here playing trash because you high? You playing, bro, and it dawned on me how high he was. We was in a car. My man's eyes were so closed. He was muttering everything that he was saying. I was like, bro, what did you say? Cuz, say it again. Cuz, what are you talking about? He started talking about his girl. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? I don't know. It was, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, John, you don't understand. I'm like, well, bro, what happened? It's just, you know what I'm saying, man? I'm just the man was speaking in tongues. I didn't know what the hell he was saying.
You sure he was smoking weed or something else?
Man, I don't know what he was smoking. Like, he been smoking on this electronic weed stuff. Like, he been smoking
electronic weed.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of electronic weed.
Yeah, the electric cigarettes.
Yeah, well,
they got it in weed form.
Like a little pen. It's like a little pen, about the size of a pen.
Oh, and they just put what, weed inside it?
No, it's an oil.
Yeah,
kind of like oil, like a liquid, and it heats up, and it creates a smoke, and they inhale it, and then they blow it out. just like electronic cigarettes. Like I did electronic cigarettes before, but then we had to recharge it. So I felt it was like kind of stupid at that point. Like I got to recharge this and change the cartridge. I don't feel like doing all that. It's kind of weak.
I mean, I got a little bit of truth. I got a little bit of truth to tell. Like when I was younger, I did smoke weed, and I shouldn't have been smoking weed. It took me so long to get my life in order. And I was at the point where I had decided, like, I don't want to be nobody. Like, I don't want to be a nobody. I don't want to be a loser. You know what I mean? I had to tell myself that, like, I had to tell myself, like, you need to graduate from high school. When I was in the 12th grade, I had 8 classes in night school. Cause you know how we talked about last time, what would you tell your younger self? And I said, take your ass to class. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
that's where that comes from.
Just because you in the 10th grade don't mean you in the 10th grade, because they telling you that. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I was on some bullshit as a kid, and I had to tell myself, don't be a loser. Like, you just what you gonna do? You gonna be 18 in a minute. You know, my mom kept telling me, when you turn 18, you got to get out of here. Like, you gotta go. So I had decided that I didn't want to be nothing. But that's where it was headed. You know what I mean? It was headed to nothing. I had to wake up out of that. Then I went, when I had these 8 classes in night school, when everybody else in senior year had 4 classes, senior skip day, senior picnic, all of this senior stuff, I was in night school. You know what I mean? I couldn't afford to miss days to go on a picnic. You know what I mean? I basically missed my senior fun because I was on some other shit. I was on some nigga shit. You know what I mean? So I went to the military. I did my night school and my 8 classes, my night school, and I graduated. If I failed one class, I wouldn't have graduated on time. You know what I mean? My shit was fucked, you know, because I was on some bullshit, smoking weed, hanging with my friends, you know what I mean? Doing bullshit. Weed make you just do nothing. It really do. And that's just, you do nothing. So no, I would not want that for my kids. No.
So let me ask you this. Based on your experience, okay, and we've had this debate plenty of times. You all like that shirt. We had this debate plenty of times. Would you say, and Josh, I would like you to chime in on this, because me, you, and you have had this conversation plenty of times.
You just gonna wear the shirt first, huh?
I know, because I'm like, where's my shirt? Yeah. I'm over here like, where's my
shirt? So AJ, my question to you is, and Josh, we have talked on this a couple times. Do you believe that weed is addictive?
Yes.
We had that conversation 2-3 times.
Yeah, we have that conversation plenty of times. Would you, now me, Josh, and you would have our perceptions on whether weed is addictive or not?
I don't necessarily think it's addictive. I think it becomes a habit. Like, it's just what you want to do. Some people, like, I know a person who can only interact when they're high. Like, when they not high, they don't talk. Like, you don't talk. You got to get high to talk. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Like, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna say no names, but I know a person who I was on my way to the Jazz Fest in Ohio. And you know, I don't want no weed smoke in my car while I'm driving to Ohio. You know what I mean? Because they'll take your ass to jail. So it was like, okay, look, ain't no weed smoking. When I tell you it was quiet all the way to motherfucking Ohio, and they was stressed out because I wouldn't let nobody smoke no weed.
Was that the year I went with y'all? We went.
I believe it might have been. I believe it might have been, but I mean, it was real touch and go. So it's some people, I don't think that it's addictive to some people, but at the end of the day, some people can't function without doing it. Like, ask yourself, why do people smoke blunt after blunt after blunt? Like, you can't function without being high. When are you in a clear state of mind? Like, when do you have a clear state of mind? Like, you got to be high all day. You don't want to think clearly. You don't want to see the sunshine, like the regular sunshine. Like, what's up with that? You
Well,
know,
the
so some
sunshine is in
people
the
just
bag.
like being high.
The
You
I
said
think
what?
sunshine is in the bag.
I think you got a lot of times where there's people, I use it, I compare it to alcohol. I say there are people who drink socially, and then there are people who drink at home alone.
Mhm.
I look at it kind of the same like that. You got some people who are just want to do something to relax themselves or take their mind, like an after work drink type deal. And then you got some people who are escaping something,
Right.
to escape something. So to me, you can easily identify the difference between the two, because the ones that's trying to escape something, if you're what is the tolerance level for a human body? It's only so much THC that you can put in your body, just like it's only so much alcohol you can put in your body. Once you get to a certain level, you're as high as you're going to get.
Right.
Can't do anymore. So if you're still doing it, what exactly are you doing it for? You're already high. Why are you continuing to consume? You're running from something. So those type of people never seem to get where they're trying to go, because it's a bottomless pit. You know,
Right.
you're pouring something into your body to try to escape something, and the problem is still going to be there. So to me, those people, like, I guess that's somebody you would call addictive personality. For them, it's probably best they don't do anything.
Right.
It's probably best they don't do anything, because there are people out there that they'll say, those are the people that'll say, well, I started out smoking weed and then next week I was shooting heroin. No, that's not how that go. That's not how that go. That means you have an addictive personality, and you went from one thing to escape to the next thing to escape to the next thing to escape. So to me, it's a little different.
I agree.
Well, what you gonna say, Josh? You got something?
Oh no, I was looking like we had talked a few weeks ago, me, you, and Yule, about it, and like, I was telling you, with the friend of mine I was telling you about. And I remember as a young man in the 80s and early 90s, the weed was the same. From when I was a child to when early 90s, the weed was the same. It smelled the same, it looked the same. They said that was weed, right? See where I'm going? What is this shit now?
They had
that's not
regos.
what, do you see what I'm saying? That's not what I saw growing up. But they say, oh, this is weed too. But this is gas, or this is hydro, or this is, that should concern you. It should concern you. Like, this is like, not.
What is this shit they putting on that shit? I don't want that shit.
It should concern you. Right. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean, the same thing with anything. Like, growing up, I always had milk, vitamin D milk. They said if I drink it, I grow. I ain't grow. But so they lie. But anyway, when I saw almond milk, I was like, well, what's that? Well, that's milk too. What kind of milk is that? That's almond milk. Then you read what almond milk do. Okay, it ain't that bad. If you ask these people in these dispensaries and stuff, what does all this weed do? Because I've been in these dispensaries. I've seen red weed, orange weed, yellow weed. I've seen all this, and it's like, what is this stuff that people are smoking? And every person 99% of the people I know that smoke weed, they say the same thing. Oh, I can quit. I can quit. Working in law enforcement for years, I saw people say, hey, if you don't get off these drugs, you're going back to jail. And they never can. They can never get off the drug. They can never get off that weed, ever. So that's why I say I do believe it's an addiction. I do believe it's an addiction. I think it's more than what we think it is. I think it's more.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, if you look at the way some of these, have you ever looked at the actual, like, how they actually like do weed? So there's actually in the beginning there was two kind of weeds, two kind of marijuana plants. I'll say that. And there was a male and a female plant. Okay, and there was it was one in I think it was like Africa, or how the case is like that, and then another one in another state, and one was female, one a male. The male version of it, which had a higher potency of THC, has gone extinct. So the only one that's left is the female version. So they're splicing that with other variants of marijuana. And then they're genetically modifying that plant to increase the potency or to separate the THC from the other element. I can't think what the element is, the other element. So then you have like a medicinal kind, and then you have a kind that where the potency is so high, it just gets you higher and higher.
You talking about like CBD and all that
Oh,
type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but they've been doing that for a little while though.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is that instead of it being overseas where it's regulated and they allow it, like Amsterdam, that's where they're developing these weed strains. That's where they're developing these weed strains. And then they, now it's a business. So they ship them over here and it starts spreading across the coast from California to Florida. And now that it's a big business, I knew it was coming. So, everybody got their hands in those pots. Look at all the dispensaries in the neighborhood. That tell you how it is.
So y'all think that they putting so much stuff on the weed now that it's becoming addictive? Like before it probably wasn't, but now it's so many different types and different type of drugs that they add into the weed that it might be addictive now. You remember when they used to cut the weed with angel dust and stuff, right? 51
and they used to put a lot of chemicals with weed. The same thing they did with like cocaine and stuff. When they was cutting it to make it stronger, to make it more addictive, so they can have more customers. And right, and even now you still don't really know what they're putting in the weed. And I say the same thing. And I say the same thing about food. A lot of people say, well, I'm gonna go and do organic, or I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be a vegetarian or whatever like that. And I'm like, well, if you're not growing the food yourself, you really don't know what's in it. Right. Oh, I don't want nothing with that's genetically modified, GMO in there. Okay, that's cool too. But again, you're not necessarily growing it. And the FDA approves stuff, or there is no regulation on certain foods. So you really don't know what you're getting or putting into your body. So do you think that it's better to get weed from dispensaries or your neighborhood weed man?
That depends on what you're getting. If you get Regos, no. Honestly,
it really doesn't.
Regos in the street.
If you look at a dispensary, where's it coming from? Big business. Ain't no way somebody in their backyard developing all of these different type of strands of marijuana. But is it safer? Like, how they were saying, like DMX smoked weed with his friend when he was 14, and then he became addicted because it was laced. Yeah, you know what I mean?
What 14-year-old gonna have what 14-year-old gonna be smoking 51s? That's as soon as he said. Right.
What if somebody give it to him though?
Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, it's if you've ever seen that. First of all, let's say they got some crack in it, it's gonna be crackling. So right. You know what I'm saying? You said it's gonna be crackling. Yes, he had that fucking joint, that motherfucker pop like snap, crackle, and pop. No, no, bro. I thought that was seeds. I thought that was seeds. That too, but I mean, if they break the crack in it, not just put cocaine in it, they break the rock up in it. So if they put that in there, it's gonna be making that little noise, not like real snap, crackle, and pop, but it's gonna make a noise, and it's you're adding cocaine, so that's a totally different deal. See, but you don't know if it's gonna crackle until you puff it, and at that point, it's puffed. It's over. But you a crackhead now. You hit that shit once, you gone. Hell yeah. But even still, okay. But even still, hold on. So, Josh, you don't have any kids. So you had a kid. Would you be comfortable? And I know you don't smoke, but would you be comfortable? Let's just go with what AJ's saying. You don't know where it's coming from, but you have a conscious mind of knowing, where to get some good supply of weed, or you're growing it yourself. Would you smoke with your child? No, absolutely not. Is that one of my biggest? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's up? Go ahead.
one of my biggest things that I've told you and I told you, one of the biggest problems I have with elders that are over me, OGs and elders that are over me, what you taught me, hold the fucking line. That's important. Whatever you taught me, religiously or when it comes to women or whatever you taught me, when I come to you and I compromise that, you need to hold the line. I'm gonna already, like my goddaughter, and now I got a grand goddaughter now. I taught her certain things. And when she calls me to go against those things, or we're somewhere and she's trying to go against those things, it's still the same for me. I hold the line. No, I don't know who raised you like that. I don't know who taught you that. No. So if my child would say, hey, smoke this with me, Pops. No, I have to hold the line. I gotta hold the line.
I can feel that. You know, my mom, not to put my mama business out, but you know, my mama used to smoke some serious weed. And I've never smoked weed with my mama. You know what I mean? Because my mama is not my homegirl. And it's a level of respect that you want to keep. You know what I mean? Like, I respect my mom. I don't cuss in front of my mom. If I cuss, I done slipped. You know what I mean? Because I have a level of respect for her. But when you start doing stuff with your kids at a young age, they might not carry that level of respect, you know. But I'm not gonna backtrack what I said. If my daughter is 25, 30 and she a doctor and she like, Mom, let's hit this weed, I might. You know what I mean? But at that point, we've already established our relationship. We already established boundaries. I know that we have a level of respect now. Now, growing up and she like, you know, 18, 19, and she don't know which way she going. And she like, Ma, let's hit this weed. She ain't even gonna ask me to do it. She's not even going to ask that because she knows that that's not where we at. You know what I mean? That's not the type of relationship that we have. But as a mature adult, somebody who's taking care of business, handling their business, and they know that, hey, I'm on track. Mom, let's do something we ain't never did before. You know what I mean? It might be exciting for both of us, you know, not before that.
So AJ, and I pose this question to everybody. So what if it was edible?
It doesn't matter. I'm not eating no weed with my kid either, unless she a doctor. I don't want no regular motherfucker offering me weed. If it's my doctor child, then she could probably say, "Hey, Ma, let's eat this." I trust the science.
AJ, they come home with some brownies like, "Hey, you know, I was giving these brownies for my friend. You want to try some with me?"
No,
y'all
and I'm gonna knock that shit out of her
like,
hand.
What? Like y'all just giggling for no reason. Like, why y'all laughing? Sitting on the couch, spacing out.
Cause she done gave us some shit. Now that's some shit she need to go to prison for.
Nah.
You don't get nobody no drugs without them knowing.
You're talking about a daughter going to prison.
Yes, you going to jail. Motherfucker, if you give me some drugs and I don't know, I'm gonna call the police on you. I don't care who kid you are.
Here's my next question. Now, you know, we talking about marijuana and everything like that. How the case is, marijuana was once upon a time outlawed, and it's starting to be accepted closer to the federal level. Now, you know, way back when during the prohibition period, you know, alcohol was outlawed as well. So I want to change the gears, and I want to ask, what is the key difference between smoking weed with your child and having their first drink? Because having their first drink with your child normally used to be a rite of passage for men, not necessarily for women, but for men to have a drink with their child, their son, when they came of age, used to be a rite of passage. Is marijuana starting to take that field? And what's the key differences? Look like I dropped something heavy on him, boy. I put an anvil out and I dropped it like Looney Tunes, boy. They look stuck.
Can we go back to can I kind of go back to what you were saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
The same argument I've had with some of my friends and family. Okay, and we're gonna, and this goes winds in with your question. I've asked my friends and family, okay, how high are we trying to get? Okay,
Right.
so like you there, you on Neptune. What's the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th blunt for? Why are we still doing it? But alcohol, you can only get so drunk before you pass out. I haven't seen that with weed. Do you see what I'm saying? And John, do you see what I'm saying? There's, to me, you can only drink so much alcohol before it's like, hey, it's over. Like, pass out, done.
Yep.
It's over.
I ain't gonna party with my kids.
Weed,
Not like that.
I've seen people smoke weed all day and still be good. Like, I'm just like
wow. you said, once you high, you can't get no higher than that unless you do something different. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't get high enough with weed, so they do something different. But at a certain point, that's why I don't understand it. Like, why is it blunt after blunt after blunt? You can't get no higher than that. You high. You cannot get no higher than that. And they just do it because I think it's because they might want to just stay high, like stay on that plateau. You know what I mean? Because you can't go higher. You just don't only stay high. Like, you would just only stay. That's what I'm saying. Like, why don't you want your mind to be clear at a certain point? Like, clear-headed. Like, why don't you want to think clearly? Now, drinking and getting drunk, I would not get drunk with my child. I don't want to party with her. She's not my homegirl. You know what I mean? Now, when she turned 21, am I going to have a drink with her? Yeah, probably so. Like, I don't want my daughter to be an alcoholic. Let's put that out there. But I'm looking forward to having a conversation with my child as a 21-year-old and maybe having a glass of wine with her and kicking it with her as an adult. I am looking forward to that. Am I going to party with her and take tequila shots and shit? No, most likely not, because we not friends like that.
But in the same token, how is that any different than, hey, when she turned 21, regardless of the scenario, smoking weed?
How is weed different than drinking?
Yeah, how is that? How is that rite of passage still different? Because this is what I'm saying. Both at one point in time was bad and illegal. Okay. We know the effects of weed, we know the effects of alcohol.
Right.
Now, since it is legal, it almost as if the rite of passage now could be turned into, hey, I can't wait to have that first blunt with my child. It's not even, hey, I can't wait to share that first beer with my son, after a hard days of working in the yard, and we can sit there and have a drink and have a good conversation. It could be, hey, I can't wait till we sit in the living room playing video games and we roll up our first blunt together. I can't wait to show them how to roll up that first blunt and roll it good too, because I'm a good roller.
Okay, weed and alcohol is different. Okay, so homegirl who just got banned from the Olympics, right? I didn't really understand why she got banned from the Olympics, because at the end of the day, for one, weed is legal where she smokes. Hold on, AJ.
And
then for
AJ,
huh?
AJ.
Yeah.
Say Olympics.
I said Olympics. I said Olympics. Okay, Olympics. Okay.
I didn't know it was an O. It's like O'Neal. It's not O'Neal. It's O'Neal. She like, it's Olympic. Right. I thought it was Olympic.
I put the words together at the Olympics.
I'm poking fun, AJ. Go ahead. Go.
I didn't understand quite why she got banned from the Olympics, because is it right? Is Olympics right? Shit, I don't know what it's called. What is it, Jay? You said funny.
You put so much emphasis on the O.
Because you told me to say it like that.
I didn't. It's Olympics. She like, it's Olympics.
She want people to know what she talking about.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, but my thing was, weed is a downer. That shit is a downer. And this girl is a star. Like, it didn't slow her down. If anything, they should have been happy that she was giving other people a chance to maybe win. Cause weed is a downer drug. It's that shit bring you down. Alcohol, on the other hand, unless you are alcoholic, you might not have problems with alcohol unless you are an alcoholic. Weed make you lazy, and it's a downer drug. It's different. So when you say what's the difference between the rite of passage with alcohol and weed, if I smoke weed with my kid and she want to keep smoking weed and now this motherfucker just doing nothing but smoking weed, then damn, I didn't smoke this weed with my kid, and this all this motherfucker want to do is smoke weed. She ain't doing nothing else. If I have a glass of wine with her when she 21, she might already start drinking. Hell, I don't know. You know how kids are. You know what I mean? She already, if I offer her a glass of wine or something, she probably already had wine and Hennessy and all kind of stuff by the time she's 21. Who's really gonna know that? You know what I mean? But unless she's an alcoholic, then I haven't started anything. You know what I mean? I haven't created an alcoholic. You can't create an alcoholic with one glass of wine, but you can create a damn weed head with one blunt. You definitely can.
Okay.
And unless you on a path where, you know, weed is okay, I'm gonna try it this one time, and it's like Yule's daughter, like nothing happened, Dad, so I really wasn't fucking with it no more. You know what I mean? But it's people who once they hit that weed the first time, they like being high, so they continue to smoke weed. If you're an alcoholic, that don't come off one glass of wine. You know what I mean? One glass of wine don't turn you into an alcoholic. And trust me, by the time your kid is 21, you're gonna know if it's already an alcoholic or not. You will know.
Okay, I'll share my weed experience. So when I was 11 years old, I walked up on my cousin and his friends. They were sitting in the car, and I seen smoke coming from it, so I didn't know what was going on. So I walked up, I said, "What y'all doing?" And the car smelled like funky or whatever like that. So I'm like, "What y'all doing?" They were like, "Oh man, we smoking weed." And I was like, "Weed?" I was like, "What is that?" So my man, so he was like, "You want to hit?" So I took the blunt. My cousin disagreed with it, but I took it, and it was all wet on the end and all that stuff like that. Like it was wet, like it was like
they were slobbing on it.
Man, it was
sucking.
It was sloppy. So I didn't know what I was. So like, what am I supposed to do? He was like, you smoking, you take it in. He was high, so he didn't get the right instructions. So
right, because you were supposed to just inhale from your finger.
Right. So
What?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I remember this vividly. My mom gonna watch this, and she was like, "You smoke weed? What boy?" Well, she gonna call me too. Look, so I took it and I told it a little bit, and I was like, "You feel high yet?" I was like, "No, I don't, and I don't understand why y'all do it. Like this shit is stupid as hell." So I gave it back to him, and I walked away like I didn't feel anything. Now I may have did it wrong, but I know at that point in time I was like, weed ain't for me. That was at like 10, 11 years old. I was like, that ain't for me. But when I had my first drink of liquor at 14, that continued on all the way on.
Well, was you an alcoholic? Did you turn into an alcoholic?
I can tell you when I turned into an alcoholic.
Did you drink every single day at 14?
Oh no.
Right.
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you drink 3-4 times a week when you was 14?
No, but I found my way into the seasoning cabinets, and I started rolling up seasonings.
What?
Yep, I had some friends rolling up.
So you was slow at 14.
My friends was rolling up.
Rolling up
all kind of herbs. They was
rolling you was slow.
They was rolling up any kind of leaf they could find in the cabinet.
Oh, because you didn't know.
You was smoking seasoning salt.
Look,
they were actually trying to smoke.
Listen, I had a hard teenage years, okay? I had to find whatever escape I could find. If that meant smoking seasonings, God damn it, I smoked the season.
Did you get high off seasoned salt?
Look, y'all ain't about to clown me. But listen, okay, I'm gonna be real. I'm real around here. All right. So
how was those partially blunts, dog? How was those partially blunts?
I ain't tried. My friends tried them. I was smoking pepper. So, you know, I was feeling something.
Yeah,
I can't explain it, but
the word.
It was hey, you would be surprised, like, you know, pepper and some loose leaf paper. That shit, hey, it burned. It burned and it smoked. It burned and smoked. That's what I was doing at 13, 14 years old, trying to find my escape.
That's why you hate weed now, bro. You just smoking fucking pepper and shit. What the fuck, man? I hate weed too. Did you put Tabasco sauce on the label and shit?
Now I'll be honest, that did create an addiction for me, an oral fixation. So far as like having toothpicks, so far as like smoking cigars, so far as smoking cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes at one point in time. It did create an oral fixation for me that I've never had. Even now, you know, I'll have a toothpick in my mouth. You know, just because, like, I ain't picking nothing on my teeth, but I just have it in my mouth.
I do that too. My husband be like, "So you just gonna have that toothpick in your mouth all day?" Like, I think it's a turn on, but I like it. I don't know why. Like, I don't even use the wooden ones. I use those, you know how those plastic ones, they like had a string on them, a floss stick.
Yeah.
I just had those. Like, if I floss or something, like, I'm just holding on to that. I don't know why. I don't think it's because of a drug habit though, Jay. Is it because you trying to hide a drug habit and that helps you not want to drink? Or
no.
Why you do it? I don't know why I do it, but why do you do it?
That was that addiction to pepper.
The pepper.
That's addiction to the pepper. I was just kind of, you know,
had his ass strung out. Where my pepper? Where my pepper?
Look, I was losing my mind back then. I didn't know what I was thinking. I was like, what? I think back to them. Look, I'll be honest. I think back to them days, and I'll be like, so you didn't go find no weed, but you went and looked in the damn seasoning cabinet. Who thinks of that shit? Like
somebody slow.
I ain't want to say that, Jay, but
a slow kid.
A slow kid?
Yes.
Hey,
you don't do that now. You grew up.
Hey, the big
look, I can go buy cigarettes now. I don't need the seasoning cabinet no more.
Lord Jesus.
Well, you addicted to pepper now. You got to go through withdrawal. You know, your 12 steps on letting pepper go.
On pepper. That's hence the toothpick. That's step 5.
But I would definitely say, yeah, at an early age, I created an oral fixation for myself. Oral fixation for myself by doing something, because I never had them issues before. You know, even it's like I don't have it as much now because I got a whole bunch of toothpicks in my car that are just sitting in my car. I think about it like, oh yeah, I got a toothpick in the car. Probably more so I'm more preoccupied now than anything else. So, but it was a very interesting road. You know, the development through the different, you know, cigarettes, cigars, Black and Milds. Like I've pretty much did all that stuff. Now I did the cigarettes, I did the closed cigarettes, I did the Black and Milds, I did cigars. Now I'm just trapped on cigars. Now I just smoke cigars, and you know I do my whiskey and bourbon. That's it. You know.
See, to me, all of those fall in the same category. All of those fall in the same category. They all are used for socializing and relaxing, but they also can be abused.
Right.
Just like a person can come home, you can come home and say, hey, I'm gonna have my cigar and have my bourbon, have my couple of shots, and you good to go. But another person may go home and consume a fifth and smoke an ounce by themselves.
Now,
you know what I'm saying? So once you get to those stages, what are you doing?
Now let me ask this. Now, yo, I don't mean to cut you off. Let me ask this. I just thought about something AJ has said, and then something you just said. Let's just look at the regular person. Okay, let's look at a man and a woman. Okay. Say a man come home every day and he has a glass of whiskey, and say a woman come home every day and she has a glass of wine, and that's 365 all year long, every day, don't skip a beat, at least one a day, is they considered as drinking in a moderate fashion, or they have some kind of underlying alcoholic issue?
I think that's moderate. If it's one glass, that can't get you drunk. Maybe you want to shake something off or something, or you want it help you sleep or something. One glass, that's really not doing anything. You're not even really, maybe you like the way it tastes. Maybe it relax you or something, but I think it's alcoholism when you drunk. Like every day you got to drink a bottle or a pint or a fifth a day or a bottle or two of wine a day. That's a problem. One glass, what is that? That doesn't do anything.
But then again, how do we classify alcoholism? Why does it have to be a certain amount that you consume instead of the continuation of a daily habit that you're just consistently consuming?
Because I was a bartender, and when you change your mind, like when you drink and your thought process is altered, or your brain is being altered, then that's where the problem comes in. One drink, if you weigh a certain amount and you not like if I give my baby, she's 6. If I give her a glass of wine, she gonna be fucked up. She a baby. She weigh 40 pounds. She'll be fucked up if she's drinking that a day. I weigh, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell y'all how much I weigh, but I weigh enough where I can have a glass and it won't alter my state of mind. Nothing will change. It might make me sleepy or something because I had this one glass of wine, but it's not going to alter my state of mind. You know what I mean? That's why when they say drinking and driving, if I leave a club or I leave a bar and they give me a blow test or whatever, if I had one glass, I'm not going to jail. You can have about 2 or 3, depending on how much you weigh. You know what I mean? How much you weigh, what your tolerance level is. You can get away with having a drink and then leaving the bar. If that wasn't the case, then they wouldn't have bars where you can go to and have drinks and then go home. The problem is when you alter your state of mind. One glass a day is not mind altering. You know what I mean? It's just maybe calming for somebody. If they drinking a glass a day, who knows why they do that? You know what I mean? Maybe it calmed their nerve. Maybe they got bad nerves or something. So they're like, let me drink this glass of wine. If I'm drinking one glass of wine, I'm probably going to bed, because that's why they call that shit a nightcap. You know what I mean? One glass of wine and your ass tired, you going to bed. Do I drink a glass of wine every day? No, but I know I get sleepy if I'm not socially drinking. Like I'm a social, like you were saying, I drink socially, right? If I do it by myself, I got to be tired. And I'm like, shit, drink that glass and go to bed so that you can sleep hard or something. You know what I mean? But nobody just drinking one glass of wine or one drink on the rocks or straight, and then they got a drinking problem. They doing something, like maybe it calmed their nerve or something, but that's not a drinking problem.
I think it comes into decision making. Again, I know people. Y'all know people. Hey, why can you pay your rent? Because they buying alcohol, so they can't pay their rent. But I ain't got no drinking problem though. Hey, why don't you pick the kids up in school? They sitting up there drunk, but I ain't got no drink. When it becomes problematic and it becomes a systematic ritual in your life, when you drink, you don't handle business.
Right.
I would say these are real problems. That's alcoholism.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
When you get like, oh, that's my sister. But hey, when you get like Whitney Houston, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And what do you call some of them people? Yule thinks, me and Yule don't necessarily agree on this, but Yule thinks it's a such thing as functional drunks. I don't think it is.
There actually is.
You actually wrong. It's such thing. It is. People can drink a whole thing of port wine and still be functioning. They are functional drunk. They can get their job done.
Brittany has entered the fray.
Yeah.
Because it's going to depend on what the job that you do. Because alcohol, I would say alcohol versus weed immediately begins to dull the senses and starts to dull the sense of perception, sense of depth. All of those things immediately come into effect with alcohol. So if your job is highly technical, your job is something that's not routine, something that you need critical thinking on, you're probably going to have some problems.
But that's the same thing. But that's the same thing for marijuana. It still alters your state of mind. It still slows down your reaction.
True, but to me with marijuana, it's only so far you can go. With alcohol, you can continue to put it in your body and continue to go higher.
Yeah,
now, you can continue to go higher. I mean, because you get to the point where alcohol, with weed, the highest that you're going to get is just like what you said, you're mumbling.
Right.
That's about it. With alcohol, pissy.
Right.
Pissy.
Nah, you got to throw up, eat some bread, and come right back for round 2. Drink some water, rehydrate.
Yes, and that's another thing.
She know the routine.
If you, let's say no matter how high you get, there's no rehab. Alcohol, it's a water treatment plan the next day. The next day, it's a water treatment plan because you're going to have to replace all those nutrients that alcohol sucked out.
Right.
The more you drink, the more you got to rebalance the scale.
Mm-hmm. And it make you sick if you drink too much. And it make you wobbly and shit. Like, drinking to make the room spin. Now, I don't know if weed to make the room spin unless it got some shit in it that ain't supposed to be in it.
So do y'all know what happens when you actually drink alcohol?
What? You get drunk if you drink too much.
Thank you, AJ. That's the obvious answer. Thank you. No,
what else happened?
The actual science behind
it. What happens? Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us, Sensei.
Okay. Anyway, wait. So what happens when you drink alcohol is, and this is why Brittany said what she said, after a few drinks, you got to drink water to rehydrate your body. So what alcohol does is it pulls the water out of your body.
Literally.
It pulls the water out of your body. So when your brain doesn't have the necessary fluids to function, that's why you start to get dizzy. That's why you get that headache. That's why you have that empty sensation and feeling after that night, because you had a hangover and your body just feel completely drained. That alcohol has put so much water out of your body that now your body's trying to catch up and replenish. That's why you feel so horrible the next day. So when you do have a few shots, and you gotta remember, when you drink alcohol, 4 ounces of liquor, hard liquor, takes 2 hours to get out of your body versus 8 ounces of beer. It takes 2 hours to get out of your body. Okay. So that means that for every 4 ounces of hard liquor that you drink, you're tacking on 2 hours for your body to have to filter all that liquor out of your body.
Damn.
Same thing for wine. So that's why you got to drink that water that normally. And Josh, from the nights that we used to hang out, I would go home and I would drink 1 or 2 bottles of water to replenish all of the water that alcohol has taken away from my body to subside the headache and the after effects when I wake up the next morning.
Or we would even stop at the casino and you would get some water.
Yep.
At the thing, we stopped at the casino, you'd be getting water.
And Josh be looking at me like, why are you drinking so much water? I'm like, because I'm drunk as hell and I don't want no hangover tomorrow. And I'll be walking wobbly as hell. Like I'll be like, then about to bump into people.
Now, you'll.
Yeah.
Y'all have all said there's a such thing as a functional drunk, okay? I know, again, I'm going to go back to what you said. Again, I know people in high positions, bro. Matter of fact, I know a guy who is a crew chief for American Airlines. He stay high. And it baffles me how he does his job. I'm like, how does he do his job? He stay high.
You said crew chief. You talking about
Yeah,
what?
he's a guy. Well, he's a guy that before the plane takes off, it's like 114-point inspection. That's what he do and gives the okay. He says, go. That's what he do.
So is he high or drunk?
He's high. He doesn't
Like
drink. He smokes though. He's high. And I'm like, how?
Like weed high?
Yeah. I don't know how he does it. Like, you gotta, like, I'm like,
Josh, it's not that technical. It's not that technical. It's not that technical.
That's
the
true.
Inspection, first of all, the inspection is split in between the pilot and the technician. The pilot just makes the final inspection. So they really gonna go off of his. The technician is gonna look and let the pilot know of anything that's wrong. So, and his awareness that he needs in that situation is minimal at best. Minimal.
Well, yeah, I would think it would be a little bit more, but and he ain't the only guy I know. Like, I know a lot of people. Like, I'm like, I don't know how they're doing their job.
Now let's say he a pilot. Fuck no, that ain't gonna go.
Hey,
If he a fucking pilot, bro,
I wouldn't want to be on his plane.
He walk in the airport, he won't make it through the turnstile. They'll be on his head.
Hey, panel.
They'll be on his head.
Hey, have y'all seen Sully?
What?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Sully.
Is
You
that
talking about-
them
yeah,
people
yeah,
that
you
used
talking
to
about-
be in the X-Files?
No, he talking about the pilot that landed this plane.
My man, Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, yeah.
I
So
saw
y'all-
Flight with Denzel.
Huh?
Flight with Denzel.
Flight, you talking about Flight.
Yeah, now that was the shit. That was
But he
y'all
told
know
him
in
himself at
Sully,
the end.
the pilot, the guy that Tim Hanks played, was pretty much a functional drunk.
What?
But he saved the people.
He saved the people, but he was a drunk though.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Which movie? You talking about Sully?
I
Sully
haven't seen
was
Sully yet. I ain't seen that yet.
Sully
Yeah,
was
Sully was. I think he had been drinking. On that flight, but he actually saved the people.
But that wasn't the first time though. Like he was always drunk on his flight.
Wait. Hold on. We talking about the movie with Tom Hanks, not Denzel Washington, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What the fuck?
If you go back and watch Sully, if you go back and watch Sully, go ahead. What'd you say, Josh?
Wasn't that the true story?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
in Minnesota. I never saw that. I never saw it.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. But he was a drunk. Every time he flew the plane, he was a drunk.
He had like those little bottles that the flight attendants.
Because the girl that he was talking to, that he was having an affair with on the plane, she was like, "Don't you think you should take it easy?" He was like, "No, I'll be fine." And she was like, it seemed like it's getting worse. Like he was a drunk. They still can't recreate the crash that he did where he only killed 3 people.
Sully? Did nobody die? Wait.
He landed the plane in the water. Like he landed.
Nobody died on Sully's plane.
No.
Nobody died on Sully's plane.
Yeah, yes it did.
Nobody. Not on Sully's plane. Nobody
he saved
died.
all the people.
He saved everybody. Y'all thinking about Denzel Washington people died. On Sully, he saved everybody.
Yeah, he landed.
Remember, Sully is the one who landed in the Manhattan River.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saved everybody.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Denzel was one that turned the plane. Flipped the
Yeah.
plane.
I'm trying to figure out, like, whoa, Sully a drunk. This a new deal for me.
But Sully was drunk. He was drinking. But he did save everybody. But he did have those little bottles of alcohol. I don't know if he was an alcoholic though. I don't remember that part. But
How come the media buried that part? I've never heard that shit. I've never heard Sully was a drunk.
You gotta watch it again. It say in the movie like he was drinking. He had some drinks. So even after he saved all the people, he still like got in trouble with something because he was drinking, right? Right, Jay?
Right. That's how I remember it. That's how I remember it because I don't remember it.
That's what happened with the Denzel Washington movie. That's what happened with the Denzel Washington movie. After he saved the people, he was drinking. He saved the people. And then at the end of the movie, all his drinking shit came out and he wound up going to jail. That's what happened in the Denzel Washington one. He was drinking. He saved the people. He was a hero until they finished the investigation. He couldn't keep his mouth shut. He couldn't keep the shit right. and wind up fucking up because he couldn't leave the liquor alone.
So he told on himself?
Yeah, pretty much, basically. Because he could have lied. That's another part about that movie I didn't understand. Hold on, bro. If I saved all these people, that liquor problem going to hell with me. I'm never talking about
The reason he lied was he was having an affair with the flight attendant, and the flight attendant ended up dying, and they was putting it all on her. So he didn't feel right with his conscience, like letting her go down for it, even though she was dead, and he would get away with it, like on a, like whatever. I wasn't drunk or whatever. So he put all the drugs.
Her fault though that the plane crashed.
No, because they put all the drugs on her, because they were saying like he didn't have no drugs on him, but he was doing coke with her the night before in the hotel. He was drinking with her. He was doing all that stuff the night before, doing the plane. And so they was pinning all of that on her. So he didn't like that.
It would have been on her.
Yep. So he took he was like, he confessed to it.
Oh, now, it would have been on her. Like you did. She was
dead.
All right.
Yeah. She dead. Now helping her family out, that's one thing, because she did have a little boy.
Oh, but you gotta have a conscience though. You can't.
No. I mean,
she would have got all that blame.
No, Josh, I would have helped her. I would have helped her daughter. I mean, she had a son. I would have helped her son.
She shouldn't have been doing no drugs. She shouldn't have been doing them. She did them too.
Wait a minute.
She got caught.
Hey, to that point. Now this is funny. Now remember, it was a white co-pilot. Why did they blame it on him? And he died too. Why did they blame it on the white co-pilot? He died too.
Well, yeah, why didn't they do it?
He died too. Matter of fact, he died first.
Now that I don't know. Maybe some of the fall was going on him, or I don't know if they did a toxicology report on him, and why didn't go on the co-pilot for a flight? Because fall. Why didn't the fall go on the co-pilot? I forgot his story.
If I'm alive and you dead, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's why. Hey, that's why. The toxicology report. Yeah. Remember, they was like the co-pilot didn't have nothing in the system.
Well, see,
that's what happened. Yeah, because the flight attendant had stuff on her.
But see, with the toxicology report, it's only going to them. You know what I'm saying? So just like they was gonna bury it on the girl, they could have buried it on the white guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
at the end of the day, do you believe American Airlines is answering to the airline authority? No, it's the other way around. So if the airline wants to kind of bury it and don't make a big scene about it, what do you think the federal regulation gonna do? They're gonna go with it. Because at the end of the day, it's still about the money. It's still about the money.
All about money.
Put it on they'll put it on the actual, like Boeing or whoever. They'll put it on the manufacturers.
Yep.
That's why they stopped doing the Max 757, whatever flight it is, whatever plane it is. They stopped doing that because of the engines and stuff. All the planes that come up missing over the water, why? Because they're going out of space.
Bermuda Triangle is why they keep coming up missing.
Hey, I meant to mention this to y'all. I'm sorry, I meant to mention this to y'all. Rob is from Colorado. He just got back from Colorado. He's born and raised in Colorado. Of course, y'all know. And when I found this out the other day, I was like, I did some research and was like, that makes no sense. The weed thing, right? It's legal in Colorado, right?
Right.
All day. We all know that. It's legal, right?
Right.
If you are in Colorado, this is why I say our government is just, no, bro, I don't have time for it. If you in Colorado, weed is legal. If you at work, you get in an accident, they drug test you, you have weed, they fire you.
Because maybe for that particular job, they don't want you smoking no weed.
Exactly. Every job has a drug policy.
Every job has a drug
policy. Regardless of if it's legal or not, they do know the effects that alcohol as well as marijuana have on people.
They do have a
policy. So policy can override federal government.
Unions too.
And at the federal level. It's not at the federal level. It's only at the state level. So yes, federal still trumps state.
But also with that, it's the same thing with any company. federal doesn't dictate how I run rules and policies inside my company.
Yep.
Right.
The only thing they really regulate is how we treat employees and everything like that. But we can have our own policies.
Yeah.
Because we're not with our policies doesn't we don't trust. It's not like, oh, I come on a job with marijuana, I create an accident, I get fired. That's a company policy. Every company has their own policy. Now, if there was a company that sold marijuana or marijuana paraphernalia, and they said, hey, it's okay for you to smoke weed on your break,
your lunch,
or your lunch or whatever like that, that's their policy. They can have a drug-free policy. And it also depends on the industry. So the policy doesn't create a crime. Like at the state level, they may not charge them with a crime, but at the federal level, they may charge them with a crime. But so far as inside of a company, I can still have my own policies that dictates what you do inside of this building. What you do outside the building, you can drink as much alcohol as you want to, you can smoke as much weed as you want to. But once you walk into this building, there are still rules that you have to, that's just like saying, like they have a policy where you're not supposed to steal. You can't steal at city, state, or federal level. It's a crime. You steal inside of an organization, that's still a policy. They may have a policy where they say, hey, you can steal. It's not a big deal. Go ahead and take all you want to. That's their policy. That's their policy. Policy inflicts only within that organization that you're employed to. It doesn't necessarily have to. Go ahead.
No, it's weird. It's like, to me, it's just weird. Like, how's that even, you know what I'm saying? It would seem like if weed is legal, it's legal. Everybody's smoking it, it's legal. It seemed like your company know that, but they still gonna hold you to the fire. It just seemed like a lot of, it seemed like a bunch of BS, honestly.
Well, it is, at the end of the day, there is some BS involved in that, because let's be real, who are they going to be policing on that? Who are they going to be policing on that? You look at jobs. I know people that work for the Royal Commission, black and white people. The black guys say the same thing. Hey man, I don't do this because they be drug testing me all the time, randomly all the time. The white guys doing the exact same job tell me they don't get drug tested at all. When Friday come and they get their bag, they already making plans. They sending the person to go get the liquor and whatever drugs they gonna get so they can party all weekend. Now they doing this every week. So when are they getting drug tested? And these cats ain't just doing weed, they doing cocaine and other shit. So what's the difference? Nothing. It's who's behind the decision to who gets drug tested. Like for instance, Simone Biles. Think about how many times she gets drug tested, how she talks about how she gets drug tested. And then you go and look at the same counterparts on her same fucking team getting tested 3 to 4 times less. How is that possible?
Magic. How are we magic like that?
No, because you know what it is? At the end of the day, Simone Biles can win. She can win everything. They don't want that. The same thing with the girl running the race. She is our next FloJo. They don't want another FloJo because they know that when you set those records, they don't get broke. FloJo records still stand. They still to this day won't give her full credit. She got an asterisk by her damn name. They after she died, they did an autopsy. Still looking to see about drugs on their shit. The shit was ridiculous. At the end of the day, she did what she did. And in our eyes, in the African-American eyes, we hold her up to the standard that she set. She's a star. But how does the regular world look at her? Watch any type of commentary on her record. I guarantee you they will not make it 5 minutes before they start talking about controversy. Well, she could have been using drugs and this is such a high mark and blah, blah, blah. Same thing with old girl. Marijuana is not a performance enhancing drug. They knew if that girl competes, she's smoking everybody out there, period. Hands down. Nobody is looking at number one. They all fighting for number two. But with her not in the race, now it's an even race.
Somebody else got a chance.
Exactly.
Okay. So, panel, you know what time it is. It's time to get that final word. All right. So, Josh, what's your final word?
Like I said at the beginning, with children smoking marijuana, you have got to hold the line if that's what you taught them growing up. You cannot let them get older and switch up. You just can't. That comes to alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, crack is whack, anything. If you have got to hold that line as an adult coming up, so they understand clearly that this was the principles, this is how you were raised, we're not doing that. Now, if they get grown and they decide to smoke, I'm with AJ and the rest of y'all. They grown, go ahead. But understand, it could be some consequences from it. Very possible, very possible. And I would let that be known. I would let that be known. I think that we don't know everything about weed that we think we know. I've been telling people that for a long time. I believe that something is in weed. I don't know what that is. I'm not a scientist. I don't know everything, but I believe something is in it. I believe it's something in this new stuff. And honestly, I believe the government's putting something in there and it's killing a lot of us off. Because a lot of us are just dying for no reason. There's no reason, just dying. Die. And they're calling it something else. We've lost five legendary rappers in 6 months.
Okay.
I just don't, and the commonality of all of them that died, Yule was what? They all did what? Weed and what else? What was that other thing they did? Shock G, they said he found in his system, but we already knew that. That one drug.
Oh, you're talking about formaldehyde.
Yeah. And they up there, the Biz Marquee, all of them. So I believe it's something in it.
But and wait a minute, hold on. I won't go that far because you know when you look at Biz Marquee, a lot of these cats, man, when I see type 2 diabetes, and they say that he had type 2 diabetes, he had it a long time. Man, these cats don't be living right. They don't be eating right. They still want to consume alcohol. Alcohol turns into sugar. Carbohydrates turn into sugar. You know, they're not eating right. That's something that really needs to be addressed. I'm funny that you said that. Something that might be something for a podcast, John. People in African Americans with type 2 diabetes, and how a lot of people don't take that serious until it's too late when limbs is starting to get chopped off, organs is starting to fail. You know, they just play it off. MC Breed, that's how he died.
Well, you might as well continue. You know, it's your turn, my brother.
Well, he acted that flow pretty good, right into him. Yeah, right into him. Yeah.
My final word on this is I kind of agree with AJ. Once they get grown, I would be a little bit more tolerant. Once you establish, because then you like AJ said, you've shown that you understand that out here in this world, there's responsibilities. There's consequences for your actions, and there's things that you need to do to be a functioning adult. So if my child is showing me that, yeah, I don't have a problem with having that drink when she turned 21. I don't have an issue with that because she's shown me that she has a certain level of maturity to be able to deal with these situations versus just, you know, hey, we 15, let's get them drinks in.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
AJ.
I'm gonna share Yule's final word. We on the same page. I couldn't have said it better. You know what I mean? You grow up, they already know what the boundaries are. And once you establish that relationship, a glass of wine is not gonna destroy the boundaries. And if you 30 and you doing brain surgery on somebody or bone surgery on somebody, and you be like, "Ma, let's can you want to hit this weed?" I might try it. I ain't gonna lie. 30 and you taking care of your business and you wanna have a moment with your mama, I think I'd be for that.
Okay. All right. Hey, Brittany, I know you can hear us. You dropping in on the final word?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think, as far as weed, I think it's a problem having parents smoke with their children and also doing it at a young age because they're still developing and everything too. And we don't know like what is being put in all this new stuff. Because talking to some of my older relatives, they're like, we don't supposed to smell like this. Like some of this stuff, it smells like skunk. Like it's just nasty. So it's something that they're putting in it, like whether they're peeing on it to make it grow and all this other type of new stuff.
What?
So you never know. You never know what these people are doing to their weed unless they're growing it themselves. Like the people that has like their own little dispensaries. Like if they're growing their trees at home, like yeah, because you know where it's coming from. So like all these other type of dispensaries, they're mass producing it because everybody's got recreational weed or medical passes. So they have to get those trees up and growing because it takes so long for they crops to come. So, doing that, no, not at a young age. Like once you fully develop, then sure. Like, but of course, kids are gonna do it with their friends, their peers, their relatives, whoever. But as far as drinking alcohol, people overseas, in Africa, they're 18 years old drinking. In Europe, people have at 13, like they're drinking wine with their parents. So I would rather them do it at home than to actually be in the streets because you never know if somebody's lacing their stuff. You never know if someone's actually giving them, like shoot, people could be putting whatever in your drink. So just having like one drink at home with family, just like, all that type of stuff. I don't think it's an issue with it, but just be safe. That's all I care about.
All right. And I'll take the last row, the last row. So my final word. I'm just gonna go ahead and double down. I'm not gonna smoke weed with my child. And before y'all try to crack a joke at me, I ain't smoking seasonings either. Okay, I got to it before y'all did. All right,
no hot pepper. No hot pepper. No hot
pepper. But I'm gonna be honest. Do I look forward to sharing that first drink with my son? Yes, I do. Do I look forward to sharing the blunt with my son? No, I don't. If my son does choose to live his life by smoking weed and his life is not together, I did all I could to raise him up to a point, and that's the decision that he makes. I'm not going to share in that habit. That'll be a habit that he cultivates on his own from that point on past 21 or 18. Anything under that, I'm just going to be honest, that's an ass whooping. Let's just be honest, okay? Like we throwing hands in the living room. 16, 17, we throwing hands in the living room. We just going to do it. But I'm not smoking. I'm not smoking weed with my kid. I don't think there's any appropriate age where you can smoke weed with your kid. There's not appropriate time to I don't think there's a real appropriate time to actually share a drink with your child. You could do it at 21, but who says that's the right time too? We just going by what was passed down, what was said to us as it was coming down from the older generations. Okay. By us doing that, are we cultivating habits in our kids that we cannot change because we are introducing them to a world that we don't even really want them to be part of? Look at who is it? I think it's Lil Boozy that lets his kids watch porno because he don't want them to be gay. He's putting them into an environment, into a habit that he believes is going to save them from some kind of what is perceived as a mental state of being gay. He think he's doing something by being there, and it's a controlled environment. Nothing that we do or create is a controlled environment, because once they leave that controlled environment, it's no longer controlled. So if you start smoking weed with your kids, at some point in time, you're going to lose control. You can't say, well, you only can just smoke it with me in the room. When I'm in the room, we can smoke. But if I'm not in the room, we can't smoke. Once they leave and they go with their friends, they're going to feel like, oh, well, I can go and smoke with my friends as long as my parents don't know. I can go and drink with my friends as long as my parents don't know, because now it has left a controlled environment. See, that's what the whole conversation was really about. Can you do these activities with your kids and make it a controlled environment? And the truth is it's not a controlled environment, because it will get past you.
Right.
It will begin to start somewhere else. You know, if your kids see you drinking and driving, or they know you to drink and drive, and they feel like, no, you was able to do it. Hey, if Jay can do it, or Dad can do it, I can do it too. But they don't understand all the precautions that go into it with trying to make it home safely, or all the dangers that go into it with trying to make it home safely, with all the setbacks that get into it with trying to make it home safely. There are a lot of people that drink and drive, get their license suspended or revoked, go get their license suspended, then go back and do it again until they won't get caught again.
Very true.
There is no controlled environment by doing these activities with your kids. And I'll be the one to tell you, I used to party with my dad. We used to go to the club. We used to get drunk together. We used to do that stuff. And it was the funnest times it was the best times that I've had with my dad. The best times that I had with him. But also, my dad wasn't in my life as well. So a lot of it becomes situational. He shared a drink with me. You know, he shared the club life with me. He showed me a lot of things in those times that I hold to dear with memory. I hold it. I ain't gonna tell you about some of the stuff that we did because it was some wild nights. Me and my dad was wild. But those are the nights that I would love to relive, is hanging with my dad, having a drink at the bar, telling jokes, talking to women, and having a good time. Those are the nights that I love. But was it controlled? No, because I would always lose it. I would do suicides. I would do beer. I would do liquor. Then I go back and forth. I did a lot of that stuff around my dad, you know, having a good time. But it was never controlled, because then I would go with my friends and do the same thing. So it's never a controlled environment. You know, if we want our kids to live pure lives, we must maintain that presence of purity in front of them. And if they choose to go down that route, then we let them go down that route, but they have to understand the consequences that befall them if they go down that route, when they go down that route.
Yep.
No matter what we do, only thing we can do is groom them to make the right decisions. But even in a right decision, turns out to be a bad consequence.
Very true.
And that's my final word. Thank you for watching the Formalities. We do this every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. You got an opinion, you got a thought, you go ahead and leave it in the comments. You got something to say to any one of these people on the panel, please go ahead and say it. Then let me tell you who we got on the panel again. We got Miss AJ with the wavy hair, feeling good, looking nice. We got Brittany over here. She ain't there, but she's there. You got Josh, got the muscles out. You know, he ready to do it big sometimes. And we got Mr. KC over here. You got to Skip the Formalities shirt on.
Now available at your nearest shopping store. Now available at your nearest shopping store.
Don't believe that. Don't believe that.
All right.
He about to fuck us all up with false advertisement. Y'all stay chill. We'll see you next week.